Good evening. It is 6 o'clock. It is Thursday. It is the XS Manchester Football Social. It's the full-time Devils takeover. And what a takeover it is tonight. One of the busiest shows we've seen. We've got three absolutely lovely guests, all give me big smiles as I'm talking. But we want you to get in touch tonight on the show. Happy time to be a United fan, so come on the phone and tell us all about the positives of the way United are playing. If you want to do that, give us a call, 0345 111 7625. That is 0345 111 7625. Lovely Trevor will be having a chat with you, and then we'll get you on air to talk to the three legends that are in front of me. We got one Radio Gaz.
You're stretching it with legends, mate.
And then we got Webby.
Good evening, Joe.
And then we got the lovely Rowetta. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you.
Are you doing good? All three of you happy? I mean, win after win after win, goal after goal after goal, through to the next round of the... I used to be called the Milk Cup, did it, Webby?
Oh, Milk Cup.
I used to call it the League Cup years ago.
Yeah, they're just the League Cup.
When it was a League Cup, that's when it was big. When I was growing up as a kid, it was a prestige trophy.
Apart from the year City won in 76.
Yeah, we'll forget about that. It's like now, obviously, there's still a place in Europe, but the prestige is gone. When it was a League Cup, it was as big as the FA Cup, but now it's Rumble O's one day and it's the Milk the next day, and it's
who knows what it is.
I couldn't even tell you what it's called now.
I was going to say
Caribou. It's the Caribou Cup, and I love the way that Mourinho takes it seriously, because you should anything if you're going to enter something, try and win it, and take it seriously. And I love that he does that.
Wasn't the draw for the last round at 4 o'clock in the morning though?
Yeah, we got Swansea. If anyone didn't know, we got Swansea in the next round.
Yeah, Swansea.
Did you stay up for that?
No, I googled it.
That proved the point. You want the draw afterwards. I was sat there waiting for my money to be taken out in the bank for you was going to get another home tie, but Swansea it is. It'll be a couple of days off work, but I'm looking forward to it.
We'll move back to Everton on the weekend, because we just want to address this. The 1-0 scenario that United held for a long time was something we saw so many times last season, and so many times we gave it away. But not last weekend. We bagged another 3, and it was 4-0. So does that, as United fans, guys, give you the confidence that this is a different season?
Oh, mate, it makes it clear. It's like the biggest problem of the last few seasons is games that we've been on top of, and then we've let it slip really late on. And this season we've seen the opposite, where games... there was a couple of games before, I thought, as well, one of the other 4-0s where maybe we didn't quite deserve 4-0, but at least we're actually killing teams towards the end of games rather than just sitting back a little bit. People saying Jose Mourinho parks the bus, man. That was the standard criticism when he arrived. And look at the goals we're scoring, when we didn't even need to score the goals. We could have quite happily sit back on a 2-0, but if you can get 4, get 4.
Get 4. Old Trafford is back to its best. Rowetta, obviously, when people are in the grounds, they often hear your music being played out just before the team come out. Is it good that, Old Trafford is back to that fortress?
Yeah, definitely. This is the first game I've been able to go to this season, I was saying the other day to you, because I've been working, I have gigs every week, so it's been amazing to get back on such a brilliant game. People were saying the second half wasn't as good, but I loved every minute of it, because it's just like the old days, and if they score, we'll score more. That's what it feels like. It doesn't matter what they do, we'll come back at the end. That's what it feels like. We've got the squad now, we've got a great team. The bench is better than most people's teams, so I'm really, really happy. The crowd, amazing as always, the best supporters in the world. So yeah, Old Trafford is better than any other ground to go to, certainly in this country.
It weren't far off in your prediction, Webby, of last week's podcast. Did you say 3-1, was it?
I always go 3-1.
You always go 3-1. It was 4-0.
You're looking at the game, Joe, and at one point there, it was like we was the team that played in Europe on Thursday. And, we did look a bit tired, and Everton had the chances. Rooney had a couple of chances, but for me, and I thought I'd never say this, even on air or to you in the street, but Jesse Lingard changed the game. He was getting in behind him, he was stretching him, creating more space for us. I know we looked a bit, Mkhitaryan was running at dead ends, but Lingard, fair play to him, he come on and he stretched Everton, and we ended up 4-0.
So Lingard, we'll talk about Lingard. Obviously, there was a lot on him at the last season, the season before that, as being this new player to bring a bit of life to the squad. He received some criticism towards the back end of last season, rightly so, because maybe he didn't pull the weight that he should have. But now, are we seeing what he can do in the United squad?
He's a squad player. That's it. There's no doubt about it.
Does he start for United, or does he come on?
He doesn't start, but he's good for the 70th minute. You want a bit of pace to stretch teams. That's why we're scoring late, and we're stretching teams. We're bringing pace, extra pace on. Now, the thing about Ibrahimovic, I can't wait for him to come back, but that comes the other way then. As people are more in the ground, well, Ibra would have done this, done that. But Lingard stretches game, he's got pace. Martial, they've all got pace, and that's why we're getting these late goals.
I tell you who he reminds me of from recent United history, Park Ji-sung. Just very, very lively player, sort of a workhorse a little bit. And a squad player, like Webby says, a player that shouldn't be starting every single week. And if he did start every single week, you know, at the end of the season, we'd be saying, oh, he's absolutely rubbish. But that's because he's not at that level. And he knows that he's not at that level. He knows what his place is in the team. And hopefully Jose's made it clear to him that you're just a squad player. You're going to come in when we need you. And that's where we can get the best out of him.
And he's still so young yet. But I think everybody's playing better this season. There's a team. He's bringing the best out of everyone. Even Fellaini, he's had his ups and downs, but he's playing better. There's loads of players playing better under Mourinho this season. And it's working. Whatever he's doing, it's working.
What did you make of him starting then, Fellaini? We called for it. People said that was going to be the case.
He deserved it. He deserved to be given the start, I thought.
Did he have the impact?
Well, if Pogba's not playing, then it's going to have to be one of the midfielders. So I don't mind it being Fellaini and then swapping in between Fellaini, and Carrick and stuff like that. He didn't really have a massive impact in the Everton game, but he didn't have a bad game. Don't get me wrong, but Fellaini is still at his best when he comes on towards the end of a game, in my opinion, without doubt.
I'd love if Herrera was like, if he'd played more games, but he's not, and Carrick, they've not played a lot of games yet, so Fellaini I thought it was right to start him.
Yeah, 100%. 0345 111 7625. Come and have your say on the Full-Time Devils takeover. Mickey Thomas, the United legend, will be joining us on the phone after 6:20. Let's move on to last night's game. What did you make of last night's game then? It was obviously a whitewash, battered them, but...
Well, I'll tell you what, Burton's menswear could have put up a better performance than they did first 20 minutes, because they were hopeless. But they came and had a goal. They won one league game this year, which was Saturday at Fulham. There wasn't household names, and apparently he changed the team. He made 9 changes, so... Yeah. They had a bit of a go, and I was absolutely devastated that they scored. That first team to score at Old Trafford this year, Burton Albion.
Oh, it's lovely for them, though, isn't it?
They had a good night. They got a few quid, so we move on to Swansea now.
And you know what? Fair play to Burton. They came at us. They wanted to score a goal, and they got a goal. And
a couple of seasons ago, they might have got a draw.
Exactly.
They did get a draw at Burton. I remember.
You know what I mean? Game, a couple of seasons ago under Moyes or Van Gaal, it could have been. That's the way it was, but times have changed. Thank goodness.
They could have turned up though and put everyone behind the ball, see what they could get, try and reduce the scoreline. But they actually went for it, and fair play to them.
Yeah.
But to be fair, with how open they were at the back, United were well aware of that. Sometimes our forwards got it, just realised how much space they had, and after time they were just like, it's too easy this.
How much can we learn from last night? Because obviously they're nothing. You
can learn that Juan Mata was absolutely one of the best performances I've seen. That 45 minutes, it was superb, and Martial obviously got man of the match. He played well, but they all did well. But no disrespect, you can only beat what's put in front of you. Said that.
I know, I was thinking, great goal by Lingard, what Martial did in the assist, but it's against Burton, isn't it?
Yeah.
A couple of people I do feel sorry for, though, in the game. Their right back, for one, you just see, I feel sorry for that.
I think he's still in Manchester Royal, which was, he didn't know that. Fair play to him, lad.
And I tell you what, that young goalie that we brought on as well. Can you imagine Romero sat on the bench watching that? He's kept a clean sheet for 80 minutes, brings on the young goalie, and he throws it in his own goal.
He doesn't do a good job. And we played very fluent attacking football. All the lads were sort of unleashed. There wasn't any restraints on them, which showed bags, load of goals. But then, does that translate into any games in the Premier League? Will Mourinho play that way against any team? Or is it just going to be his normal Premier League setup?
I don't think teams will play against us that way, the way that Burton did. Teams who were actually quality, who have anything about them, wouldn't play the way that Burton played. I don't think it'll be very different. Sorry, I was getting some feedback in my ears then. It'll be very different in the Premier League because, naturally you're coming up against better teams.
It depends who we're playing, though. He changed it for each team, doesn't he?
He's got a plan all the time, hasn't he?
And we've got Champions League coming up as well, so it just depends what's coming up and the game ahead of each game as well.
Do you know what I'd love to see? Whether it happens is another thing. I always made a point a few years back when we had Henrik Larsson towards the end of his career, who was still a great player. Only played 10 minutes with Solskjaer together up front. The cup game against Villa, and we scored 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. I'd love to see Michael Carrick and Matic together in an away Champions League game when we've got to park the bus.
Yeah.
Carrick was absolutely, like he'd not been away.
Yeah.
He played every game now. I'd like to see that. It could happen in Moscow on Tuesday night, but it's something I'd like to see this season if you're listening to Jose.
2 of the most composed players in the Premier League, you'd say, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Right, we'll move on to Rashford. Obviously,
Marcus.
what a man. And a man called Phil Neville, we heard of him? Phil Neville?
Yes,
Yep, Phil Neville. He made a statement last night after the game.
I prefer Gary Neville.
To you?
Completely in every way.
And
I'm just saying it. I just came
sorry,
out.
Phil, if you're listening, watching.
No, I prefer Gary. I just do.
Phil Neville made a statement after the game, and he compared Marcus Rashford to being the same quality as Mbappe, and then went on to say that he would cost, in this market, £160 million. That is what he got at. Now, I love Rashford. He's a good player, bags goals. But I don't know, there's something about that world-class title.
He's still young yet,
that
that's
I don't
all.
put to him.
It might do one day. He's still young. We didn't see a lot of players when they came to United when they were kids. He's a kid. He's from Sale Moor. Don't you ever slag off.
I won't. But is he that world class?
He might be, but he's still young. I think so. I don't think he's been given the opportunity to. He comes off the bench more than not.
There's no way that you can say that someone's world class after the short amount of time that it's been for Marcus Rashford. And I agree as well with Mbappe as well. I don't think you can say that he's world class. I think that's a stupid thing to say. Not you personally, Jeff.
No, it's all right.
Other people who are saying that, I think it's ridiculous. Give him more time, and we'll see. And we'll see what happens. But as things stand, he looks like he's definitely going to be, without doubt. I think we've got a few
look who he's up against, because we've got such a great squad of. It's like when Zlatan comes back, do you play him or Rashford? They're completely different.
Well, the Golden Boy Award, have you heard of this? We know it. It's one of those awards where it's up in the air. But the likes of Rooney won it in the past, Aguero won it, etc. Now, Rashford is up for that. Would you ever see him winning something like that? Because I don't think in the names of the list, compared to the likes of Gabriel Jesus and Mbappe, that he isn't going to win.
He's won the Young Player of the Year.
I just don't think he will win it. I just don't see him being world class.
His nationality might stand in the way with that, to the fact that England are rubbish.
Yeah. It depends who he's up against. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He won United's Young Player of the Year award.
Is he worth £160 million?
Well,
he's worth whatever someone will pay for him.
Exactly. Well, that's exactly it. It's not a case of him being worth £160 million. No footballer.
Nobody is.
No footballer's worth £50 million, really. But with the market being the way it is,
unless they can sell the shirts, then you're worth it, aren't you?
You literally could get £150 million for him, and it sounds ridiculous because it is ridiculous, but it's true.
Would you see the likes of Madrid, Barcelona coming in for him?
Is it because he's from Manchester, you're saying this? He's homegrown talent?
No, you never know. If he gets a good run in the United team, I don't think United would sell him. I don't think he'd want to leave Manchester, Money talks.
Like Danny Welbeck, he didn't want to leave, I don't think so.
Money talks, I can't see it. No. Is he going to be in that class? Not yet, not by a long mile, but he's 19, you know what I mean?
You watch when he's 25, 26,
You know what I mean? He's filled out a lot in the summer. He was getting brushed off the ball last season, but this year he's knocking defenders off the ball. So give him another 3 or 4 years and we might have the same subjects, and there might be a £200 million bidding from somebody for him. You never know.
Hey, Joe, a funny game. I tell you what, you wouldn't be saying that if his name was Marco Rashfordinho.
And he's versatile.
I would. I'm just saying about the performances.
He's played in different positions as well. He does whatever he's asked to do. And so I think he's a great, great player, but he'll be even greater in a few years and you'll eat your words.
Well, I'll tell you what, maybe I will eat my words. There's a man who will tell us, probably knows more about it. The name is Mickey Thomas, and he'll be on after the break telling us just how good Marcus Rashford is. Welcome back to the XS Manchester Football Social. It is the Full-Time Devils edition, and the Full-Time Devils. What can you tell us, guys, about the Full-Time Devils if you don't know who they are?
We're a fantastic Manchester United fans YouTube channel. You can come over and check out all the reaction from every single game. We're outside the stadium talking to fans, and we also do stuff like previews, general debates. We try and get fans involved as well. So, yeah, it's great. Podcast. All United fans will love it. And we also do, a little podcast that you are currently listening to.
I watch it in the bath.
Do you?
I've never had a bath. I've not had a bath for a while. I've had a shower, obviously, just won't put that out.
I watch it on the toilet. That's where I do all my...
Do you? You watch it? Where do you watch it?
Doesn't
in my living room like normal people.
We've got a caller on the phone. Eddie, are you there?
How are you doing, guys? You all right?
I'm very well, Eddie. Eddie, we were talking just before the break about Marcus Rashford. Do you see Marcus Rashford, Eddie, as a £160 million player yet?
Bit young at the minute. I do see in about just exactly what Webby said about 10 minutes ago. In a couple of years' time, he's building, he's getting bigger. He's pushing people off the ball instead of getting pushed off the ball. He's coming on really, really well. Do I reckon in 3-4 years' time? Yeah, I do, yeah. Yeah, especially the way things are going.
Yeah, 100%. So you played good attacking football last night, and we were mentioning it. Was it exciting to see? Were you in the ground?
Yeah, no, I weren't. No, I wasn't because I'm too busy. I'm actually a trader from outside the ground.
We knew you were, Eddie. So, Eddie, tell us, what do you do outside Old Trafford?
Right, well, first I'd like to say I've put up with you pain in the arses for the past 5 years outside my store.
Give us a backstory to that. So when the Full-Time Devils do their fan cams, they often film outside your van, is that correct?
Yeah, and I'm telling I'm going crazy because everyone's outside the stall, and I actually remember when you guys started, and it was like really small, and then like last season was just amazing. It was dead big. But yeah, I own. Are you ready for this? I own the famous Porky Pig.
Yes, the famous.
Everybody knows at Manchester United. I own that. You guys stand outside my stall
and we bring potential customers. That's what we do. That's what we do.
You bring something. I'll tell you that.
Eddie, how long have you been owning the Porky Pig van for? How long is it?
I've been there 22 years now.
22 years.
Wow. Yeah. I've been there 22 years now. I know we're here to talk about the team, fans and stuff like that, but why I've got an opportunity, I've got to have a bit of a moan, if you don't mind. They have now, I don't know, we were, I think we were one of the most popular down there. I don't know, it started off as a bit of a gimmick name and Porky Pig, but we were really popular down there, and the council, not Manchester United, I've got to make this clear, not Manchester United, the council have moved us not away, we're down, do you know where the chain is, the statue chain thing?
Yep.
Yeah, we've been moved down around that corner there.
All right. Why is that? Do you know why?
Is that new road works?
It's all the road works. People like you taking up all the roads.
Me.
But no, they moved up because of all the road works, and the tram lines are coming in. But what I will say is a lot of fans, majority of fans have been texting me, emailing me, asking me where Porky Pigs has gone. But yeah, we're just literally around the corner where the big chain stands up.
I think there's a picture that's going around, and we'll try and get hold of it and retweet it just so people know who are listening that the Porky Pig, where the Porky Pig is at. So you've been doing that for 22 years, and you see all the fans every single weekend they're at Old Trafford. Is there a sense of positivity in the air this season then, Eddie?
Definitely. If you remember, I think it was about when Mourinho just came, there was a lot of people moaning, saying, he's not the man for the job, he's the man for... Of course he was the man for the job. Look what he's done. They sat him at a table and said, finish in the top 4. Okay, he finished in the top 4. Yeah, that's what I think. You know, he's now playing in Champions League. Is he fighting for the title? Is he fighting for Champions League? I think he should concentrate on the title. Do I think things have changed at Manchester United? Definitely.
Well, it's big. And do you see it, guys, as the fans? You sit amongst them. There's positivity this season, Webby, that things are going to change.
After what we've seen for the last 3 years before Jose come, we've obviously seen me on the fan cams. I was in that ship canal every week. You know what I mean? I was never dry. No. But now I'm the driest person. I'm the driest person in Manchester, so we all know Mourinho should have been there when Fergie left. It never happened.
Definitely.
The club's made for him. He knows what it's all about. Look at his first interview. He was part there, and that's what, as a United fan, you're getting up on that, and you look at what Moyes said, we aspire to be like City, we'll make it hard as possible for Newcastle. I was tearing my hair out. We were the current champions.
And Van Gaal was awful. His interviews were horrible, weren't they?
Van Gaal was only good when he'd had a drink.
Yeah, he was very good. Like me and you, Gaz.
Eddie, so to get one last time, tell us where we can find the Porky Pig.
Around near the statue of the chain. We're round there. Come and see us.
I've got the picture now. I've just retweeted it.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Eddie, I hope you for another 22 years. That was Eddie there from the Porky Pig. Make sure you go down there, have something to eat before the game. Now, we did promise you the legend that was Mickey Thomas. He should be on the phone now. Mickey, you there?
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
Hey! Mickey, we were talking about just how good the United attacking line was yesterday. Can you tell us, as you were there, just how brilliant it was to watch?
It was a great performance. Probably the best I've seen for a long, long time. You look at the opposition, you could say they weren't great. But over the years, United struggled against lesser opposition. But professional job it was. And Martial, Rashford and Lingard, were really in top form.
Yeah, and what do you make of Rashford and Lingard and the youngsters? Are they coming on strength for strength?
Well, they are. They're getting better with each game. They're getting more experience. And Rashford, for sure, is a revelation. I'm a big fan of his. Of course I am. But opportunity to play in that first 11 for Manchester United is going to be tough for Lingard. There's other players just a little bit ahead of him at this moment in time. But he has to be patient and wait for the opportunity. And if he gets that opportunity, he's got to play well.
Mickey, it's Gaz, mate. Just a quick one. Martial or Rashford?
Yeah, that's a horrible question you put to me.
I thought it might be.
Yeah, well, I mean, Martial is a match winner. He's already demonstrated this season what he's about. He can score goals coming from that left-hand side. And Rashford is a powerhouse. To answer that question, play them both together.
Yeah. Really? Where?
Well, why not? I mean, I think, if it's a possibility, Rashford, a little bit behind maybe Lukaku, that is a possibility. He has to have the balance right, there's no question about that. But the most important thing is everyone playing well as a team and the squad. There's lots of games coming up for Manchester United in the next few weeks, so he has to use the squad to perfection. And last night was a demonstration of how powerful United are with reserve team players, you could call them.
Mickey, it's Webby. How are you, mate?
How are you, Dad? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm okay. Just wanted to ask you, Mick, regarding... Obviously, I was quite shocked that Shaw never started last night. He needs a game. Had a terrible injury. We were both at PSV when he done it. Now, for you, Mickey, the best left-back at the club, who would you go for? Who would you... To make us more stable, Because at one point there, before Valencia come in the other year, obviously it was Darmian and Shaw, and we looked so balanced, so... Who's your first choice right-back, Mick? Left-back, sorry.
Well, I think Danny Blin can play there and Darmian can as well. I think, unfortunate for Luke Shaw, he's way off the mark at this moment in time. He's had a catalogue of injuries, quite well, Dad. He's struggled, and last night he didn't show enough for me to say that he's near fitness. I think he's got a little bit longer than expected.
Ashley Young, Mick.
He is a quality.
Ashley Young did well against Everton.
Young, yeah. I think in that home games, yes, I wouldn't find that a problem, but away from home sometimes when you have to defend a little bit more, maybe that would not be the answer. Blin has the experience, and certainly Darmian knows how to defend, although he's a right back more than left. But it's all about players playing well in different positions, that for a fact, Alex. And United at this moment in time are firing on all cylinders. It's looking really promising.
Mickey, do you know when you were a player and you played against lower opposition like United did against Burton last night, did you ever learn anything when you played against them? Were you allowed a bit more freedom?
No, don't take them lightly because you have to understand the lesser opposition will raise their game. They've got nothing to lose, and you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. So you have to understand you have to be prepared. You have to match their work ethic because they do work exceptionally hard. As I said, they've got nothing to lose. But last night for me was more pleasing than ever before because I've seen United in the past struggle against lesser opposition. Right from the word go, they were ready for the game. And I think that goal goes down to the manager, Jose Mourinho, preparing them right for the start of the game. We were magnificent last night, and that's no disrespect to the opposition being lesser. But anyone that on last night's performance played against any other team, we'd have beat them handsomely.
Yeah, 100%. You can know what words there from Mickey Thomas. Moving on to the weekend against Southampton, Mickey, are you confident that the form will just continue, or does Josie have to sort of mix things up a bit? Are oppositions watching us and thinking, I don't have to defend against these?
Yeah, well, he looks at every opposition, he does his homework and that. Whatever we do, we must keep this run going. It's important. We have the Champions League again, the first away game coming up in Moscow next week. So that's important. But the league, for me, is priority. Where we are at this moment in time, we need to keep this run going. I'm not looking for a draw. I'm looking for maximum points out of this game. Southampton have at the start of the season as well as they have done in the past. So there's a possibility we get maximum points out of the game.
Are you confident then that the Premier League, I mean, the two Manchester clubs... What were we going to say then, Mickey?
They're always confident I am, Joe, by the way. Don't worry about me, though. Yeah, but I think with City winning as well, and it's going to be a very interesting Premier League. But the bigger picture, Joe, you have to look at is how we come Christmas time, how the squad is developing. And we've seen last night what The strength is in depth, and that's the most important thing. I think we're ready for the real push for all the major trophies this year.
Mickey, absolute legend. Thank you very much for giving your time.
No, I'm not going. I'm staying on. You're not going.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you then, Mickey. You talk about it's going to be the two Manchester clubs. Is there anyone else that you're looking at in the Premier League thinking they might join the two Manchester clubs come the back end of the season? Chelsea, are they worrying you? Arsenal, Liverpool, well, I can say Liverpool, but I'll forget that one. Chelsea, are they worrying you?
Well, I think the usual suspects will be there, and I think Chelsea certainly will be contenders. You can't write them off with the quality they have. Arsenal are misfiring. They look a very disjointed outfit. Tottenham have got a settled squad, but to win the Premier League, discount them. Only Chelsea would put serious contenders for the title with Man City and United.
What do you make of that in the studio? Do you think it's between the two Manchester clubs, or do Chelsea get involved?
Well, the way we've started, it's between the two Manchester clubs, but you never know. Chelsea have got a chance as well, but hopefully it's just ours. And
Europe's going to be a big tester as well. He stays really in Europe longer, you know.
We do well in Europe, though. We do better than City.
So, I said it's the first show will come on here. Whoever finishes above City will win the league, and I'll stand by that till the end of the season. Liverpool won't get there.
Dad, you don't see Chelsea, Dad. You don't see Chelsea.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But I think with Chelsea, Mick, I think last year it helped them when they won the league because they had no European distraction. I think the longer the team goes on in Europe, the harder it is to win the Premier League because you're playing Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday. So you can't knock Chelsea. They've got some great players. Hazard's coming back now, who's a great player. You know,
Daz, let me just say that. I mean, that's a very interesting thing you said there. I mean, you know, you can't forget the Champions League is a massive one that everyone wants to win, and that is a massive distraction. You can take your eye off the Premier League. So in that respect, then we have to be aware of that, and hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, 100%.
But Mourinho's expert in that, isn't he? In being in the Champions League and the Premiership and winning the Premiership. We've got the best manager for that. And proven. It
just sort of shows you that, if they do have that break, because obviously Chelsea are back in the Champions League this year, there's no one else. Leicester didn't have the Champions League, they won the league. Chelsea last year didn't have it, they won the league. But there's no one who doesn't have European football who are looking on top form. Yeah. There's no one sliding through. It is the big players, like it used to be back in the days in the early 90s. It's like the big players are all back in it.
No one can use it as an excuse this year, can they?
No.
Anyway, put it that way, because everyone's going through the same thing. I'm still agreeing with what Webby said a couple of weeks ago, United or City. If we finish above City, we win the league.
Mickey? Do you want to stay with us?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't write City off. You have to be, I like having the wind-up, but if you look at the squad, they look very powerful in that final third, don't they? So they have got good players, no question about that. You have to respect them. But for me, I'm more confident this time round. You mentioned the manager there, you're quite right, Jose Mourinho. He has that experience. He has a way of winning games. And I think more so, I think, out to win the Premier League, yes, maybe, but more so the Champions League. I think we're more equipped to win that. I really believe that. The way you can get his team set up, the way you can grind out results, that for me is a message that the Champions League is ours there if we really want it.
What did you make of Lindelof last night, Mickey?
He didn't have a lot to do. He's a new signing, comes with a big reputation. He hasn't settled down as well as expected, but it's a big asset, obviously, and it's for me, I would say, guys, and Webby sees, and you all see him in the stadium play, I think he's going to find it a little bit difficult this moment in time to get in front of Phil Jones and Bailly.
Yeah. Do you agree?
When Rojo comes back, I think I really want to see him slot straight in alongside Bailey, definitely.
So, if you look at it, though, he's come from the Portuguese league. It's not a very good league. It's going to take him time to settle. No doubt next year he will be our first choice centre-back, but Rome wasn't built in a day. I think he'll come good. We've paid a lot of money for him. Give the kid time.
Oh, yeah. I hope we give him the time.
But I like what you said there, Gaz. Rojo, when he was at centre-half, he was like a different player.
Last season, he was
great
dynamite.
player, yeah. And when
he didn't start too well, did he, Daz?
He wasn't the only one, Mickey, but he knuckled down. He wasn't getting a game, and then he got his chance and he took it well. And I can't wait to see him back.
Yeah, Mickey, thank you very much for your call.
Nice one, Mickey.
You can always catch Mickey. See you, Mickey. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.
Bye. Mickey joins the Legends Show. He's always on Monday and Friday. He's having a break tomorrow, but he'll be back when he's joined by Gary Owen. They always have a good chat. It's always good to get a Legends perspective on, who can sort of be in there, be in the game like he was, Webby, and he knows what he's talking about, and he can sort of see players and see how they're going to progress, because he was that player back in the day.
He lived a dream, didn't he, as a player, you know. People don't remember he's had more clubs than Peter Stringfellow, didn't he? You know what I mean? But if you look at, obviously, people remember him for his goal against Arsenal when he talks about the minnows, the big boys underestimating the small teams. Arsenal were the cup holders that day.
Yep.
You know, when Mickey and Wrexham knocked them out. But no, he's right. You listen to what these ex-players got to say, because they've been there and done it, you know. And I've got plenty of time for Mickey. He knows what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm. This is the XS Manchester Football Social, the full-time Devils takeover. Gaz, you got a little nice one for us after the break?
I do, mate. It's a really nice one today.
Welcome back. It's the XS Manchester Football Social. It is my final quarter of an hour. I'm only joking. My name is Joe. I'm joined by Gaz, Webby and Rowetta in the studio, are we?
Yo.
Yeah,
we're doing well.
Yes.
Very well so far.
0345 1117625. If you want to come on, have your say, speak to us. Now, it's normal landline. You won't be charged anymore. Give us a call now. Get your call in just before we finish. Every week, we like to get something off our chest. So, Webby, it is over to you.
Do you know what? One day I want to be nice and positive, and that someone else.
Yeah, we'll swap one day.
Yeah.
We'll swap.
Yeah, I've got the thing. Obviously, we've heard about the champ. What's been going on about our new centre forward? I think it's been blown out of proportion. Sky have not helped it, and there's people getting involved, and we know what's going to happen at 3:00 at St Mary's on Saturday. The song's going to be chanted because everyone's got it. United have released a statement with Lukaku on Twitter, but let's have it nice. Sky Sport for 6 or 7 years, they had Soccer AM. One part of their show was, the last question was to the player, who was the longest in the shower? I rest my case.
Who was it?
Me. No.
Well, we can't say can't say that. Webby, he got something off his chest, and now it's time for Gaz's nice one.
I bring the mood up a little bit, yeah. My nice one's all about Rio and going his foray into boxing. I cannot wait.
What do you make of that,
really
Rowetta? A big smile on Rowetta's face. Rio Ferdinand, boxer. Rio Ferdinand.
I think it's great because all that he's been through, and he said he wants to channel all that. He's very competitive. He wants to channel it somewhere. All that anger, all the passion, all the emotions he's had. It's got to be good. He's been training. It's got to be good to do that. He's got children. You don't want to be going home to your kids with all this pent-up frustration, because he said he's so competitive. He's so fit. So, you know, good luck to him. Why not? And all that'll happen, if he's not good enough, he'll get beat. That's all. And he won't do it again.
Exactly. To be honest, yeah. I was wondering at first, like, why is he doing it? Like, he don't really need to, does he? He's got his little BT punditry job, but then I sort of realised maybe that's why he's doing it. I mean, if I was trapped in a room with Michael Owen all day, I'd want to whip someone in the face as well.
If you're a sportsman, though, you've got to get that spot. It's because he's still fit as well. But didn't Flintoff do it?
Freddie Flintoff did do it.
And he won, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Now, do we know if this
is... He got knocked down, I think.
Is it the same show? I feel like Rio Ferdinand's doing it for the same type of show.
Someone was talking about this. He said, well, Flintoff did it and he won. And I think I wouldn't bet against Rio.
No.
Anything.
What do you think, Webby?
Because I don't think he'd put his... enough.
Looks after himself, and since he's been finished football, he's a naturally fit lad. He fancies to do a bit of boxing. Fair play to him. He's had a terrible last couple of years, you know. The heart goes out to him, not just as being an ex-United player, being as a human being, you know. People around the world.
Father.
You've seen that programme, and even the big man Webby was crying. It really got to me, so fair play to him, and I hope he does well.
Which former United player, Gaz, would you not want to meet in the ring?
Vidic,
100%.
Remy Moses.
Well, Yap Stan, will you take your head off?
Kickboxing, Cantona.
You've got it. Kickboxing, Cantona.
I would love to see that even now.
Can you imagine that?
Go in the gym a bit, but I love
Cantona v McGregor.
Oh, that'd be sweet, wouldn't it? So that's the nice one. Rio Ferdinand, boxer. We'll keep you up to date when the fight is. Who knows where he's going to fight? But you know, we'll be on the front row, won't we?
Cheering for Rio.
Cheering for Rio.
Might be against John Terry.
Can you imagine?
Cheering for Rio, but not mentioning the size of anything when we're doing our cheering.
Southampton on the weekend. We will go... Southampton will be a tough game, and it's important that the 3 points are in the bag, because it doesn't look like the opposition across the road are going to slow down anytime soon. So why should we? Guys, going to be hard. How would you... Are you ever worried that oppositions will look at our sort of past performances, analyse them to the nth degree, and come at us with a defence that we can't? Should we mix things about?
I think a lot of the time, if you talk about it individually as well, a lot of our players, right? I've said this about so many players, but like Tony Marshall, Marcus Rashford, Valencia, Lingard's another one, Mkhitaryan at times as well, where they get it, and I feel like you know what they're going to do. You know exactly what they're going to do, but the opposition just doesn't seem to be able to stop them, even if they're aware of what they're going to do. So I feel like it doesn't matter how you prepare for United at the minute. I just think we're in that sort of dynamite form. The confidence is there, especially in the young lads. Mate, I'm confident going into it as well. I think we can do Southampton. Another 4-0.
Another 4-0.
Now we've got the best away fans.
Yes.
Of anyone, and I think that really, really does help. But you never know. But we're playing on form at the moment. I don't think anybody should be able to beat us at the moment on this form.
Mickey Thomas just before the break said that he would think about in the future playing Marshall and Rashford in the same team, same time. Would you ever want to see that? Would you maybe start that one day?
There may be games where that's called for, or one coming on and both playing together, not actually starting together. With Mourinho, we all know he's going to go 4-4-1-1. So to start them both up front, it probably never happened. Chasing the game, it could happen. The Southampton game, obviously they've had a sticky start. They won at Palace last week. I see the kids back now who wanted to go to Liverpool. Absolute colossal player.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If Liverpool would have got him, then they might have been in towards going for the Championship.
No.
Why United never went for him when he was at Celtic? He's a footballer, can play the game. And what did Southampton play? Was it 10? Now they're talking 60, 70. I know he come back on a sub at Crystal Palace, so he could start, and they've got Long up front who'll hassle you all game. Being our game, but I fancy us to win 3-1.
You always say that. 3-1, I'll go for it.
Before we go on to that, it was in the news today that United are making a lot of money.
Was it?
Now, a lot of money.
It'd be nice if they made season tickets cheaper then, wouldn't it?
Well, this is the point I'm going to bring to you. United are making this amount of money. Now, are you happy with them making this amount of money the way they're going? Because then we can go out in the summer and you can buy big players.
You cannot knock people with the Glazier thing. This has been our most successful period since the Glaziers took over all the Champions League. I know we didn't win them all. But my season ticket's not gone up for 5 years now. The kids are £190. Where you can watch football for the kid up for £190. Mine's not gone up, so they're making all this money. Fair play to win, but like you're saying, I don't want that to stop us going for players. Don't get me wrong, I'd rather bring a kid through the youth or the reserves, but if that world-class player's there, he's going to come to United. Like Gordon McQueen said, 99% of players want to play for Manchester United, the other 1% are liars. There you go. So We've spent big money and may continue, so let them make money as much as they want.
And we will still get Manchester lads playing for United, and they won't be playing for City. They always end up coming to us.
Are you happy, Rowetta, with the United making this money? Yeah. Do you think they give enough back to the fans, or is it just a balance?
They give enough back to the fans. I'll never slag United off.
Guys.
I love my team. I love our ground. I love everything about United. I do. I think we've got the best. Of course, we're going to earn more money than most because of, like ticket sales, T-shirts, everything. It's a business, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
the season tickets haven't gone up. That's
the only issues I really have with United we covered last week on the podcast. You can go and check it out now on YouTube on Full-Time Devils. So yeah, to be honest, I've got everything off my chest. I love United. They're great.
Yeah, and they will continue to make as much money as they can. Now you've seen that there's a lot of commercial deals. When you see, I don't know if you saw recently, there was a clip of some United players taking part in a trailer for Kingsman, which is a new film coming out. Now, when that's out on the internet and they're doing stuff like that, we get a lot of... you can see how other teams can ridicule us for doing stuff like that. Yeah, but does that affect anything on the pitch?
No. It's all done a time away. It doesn't interfere with the training, but I've noticed like the sponsors... some of the teams got the sponsors on the arm now. What's all that about?
Angry Birds.
Angry Birds. Everton. It's a red bird, and the Liverpool fans having a go. City's got one. It'd be no doubt before we're
getting one next season, I hear.
Well, it's all about money. It's a business, like Rowetta said. Now, football's there, but it's a business. It's a massive business.
Yeah.
And the money what United are making, obviously, it's sold out most weeks. So, obviously, the income for the mega store and the online, and it's just a business, and
players cost a fortune now. It's ridiculous, the wages and the prices of them. So it's not going to get any cheaper. They're not going to put ticket prices down, are they?
You were mentioned then about the whole film trailer thing and the embarrassing things that happen on social media. We just live in a world now where everything you do is public. Like, you could get away with doing something embarrassing like 20 years ago, and no one would see it ever. But now you do something embarrassing, and it's everywhere. United, I'm sure, did much more embarrassing promo stuff like in the 90s. I mean, there's that picture of Giggs and the lollipop, isn't he? I don't know what the context is of that, but that is awful.
They charge you best if they've been the internet then.
I know, yeah.
Who would have known what's come up? It's an exciting time to be a United fan then, with the sort of the pace of the attacking football we're playing, the amount of goals we're scoring, but it's the backline as well that are doing an absolute top job. David De Gea, clean sheet after clean sheet. It's important that, as well as this attacking players that we've got, the backline stays as solid.
I come on the Full-Time Devils show 2 or 3 seasons ago and got absolutely slaughtered when I made the comment Antonio Valencia is the best right back at the club, and at that point we had Raphael. There was someone else, and I remember the game at West Brom, at Fergie's last game, and it was superb. And then people come on there, and there was absolutely, you've not got a clue whether he's a right winger, he shouldn't even be in the team. But look at him now. Look at his goal last Sunday. That was 3 years ago. Amazing. If you want to look back on YouTube, you can see me say it. He's the best right back at the club, and he's getting stronger and stronger every game now. You can't knock it. He's flying up and down that wing.
Don't knock Rashford. See what I mean?
No, I'm not knocking Rashford. I was just making the point.
It's only Valencia's a great player. Yeah. He's great. Just week. Love him to speak English on an interview. So he's always lived in the country for 30 years.
Does it ever mirror the sort of the season where it was Ferdinand Vidic in the centre? And are we missing the two? Because when you get the team sheet, you always knew you were going to get Vidic and Ferdinand. Are we missing? Yeah, but are we missing that in this squad? Because we probably don't know what centre backs are going to be starting. Whoever,
because they're always injured.
That's what it is.
That's true.
You look at Bruce and Pallister, very rarely injured. Vidic and Ferdinand, and then when Ferdinand went out with his back, Johnny Evans just slipped in with Vidic. So obviously he fancies Bailey and Jones, and you can't knock Phil Jones. I'm not his greatest fan, but he's not. There's a mistake there with Jones for me every game, you know. But he's playing well, he's staying fit, but how long will he stay fit for, you know? You won't put it past you that he gets knocked at Southampton. We don't see him till New Year's Day. But at the moment, they're his first choice too, and I can't knock the manager with his choice.
Guys, you mentioned you wanted Rojo to go back into the squad as soon as he's available. So who's he playing with?
Yeah, well, definitely Bailey, without doubt.
Them two are our new Vidic and Ferdinand. Well, if they could stay fit.
Well, at the minute, but it's all based on form, mate. The only reason I'm saying put Rojo straight in is because just before his injury last season, he looked really, really good. And I don't think the defenders that we have been playing have put in enough consistent performances to suggest they should keep the place. Chris Smalling, Phil Jones, Lindelof. I know we've not seen enough of him, really, but he hasn't looked great in the games that he's played in so far, the few games that he's played in. So, yeah, I think that it's just common sense that Rojo has to slot back in. But if Rojo... This is one of the things that I said at the start of the season that might be a bit of a worry for us. What if Rojo returns to how he was 2 seasons ago? You know, like Chris Smalling. When Chris Smalling looked brilliant, and then one day he just switched back to the old Chris Smalling out of nowhere. It's like, I don't want that to happen. And
if you look at Smalling, he got sent off at City.
Yeah, and then
let us down, and then from that game when he come back, he was our best player, best defender, and he's gone the other way now. He's like rabbit in headlights sometimes. So for me, Smalling was the number one choice, and he's just going to drop back 3 or 4 places.
Well, thank you very much for all being in the studio with me today. Gaz, thank you.
Tk you very much.
Rowetta.
Oh, is it finished?
It's finished,
no.
Webby.
Yeah.
Have a lovely weekend. Back next time. This has been the Full-Time Devils.
Come on, United.
Takeover. Come on, United.